Silent Night, Deadly Night 5. The Toymaker. This movie starts with a child who's in his house and hears the doorbell ring on some day in December. He goes to his parents' room and they're totally banging, so he just moves on past that after watching them and goes to answer the front door. And at the front door is a Christmas present. It says, "To Derek, don't open until Christmas." And of course he brings it inside, leaves the door open, and starts opening the present. But his dad's finished, so he comes downstairs and does this.
God damn it, Derek!
Derek goes back upstairs, but he stays on the landing so he can watch whatever his dad's doing. And his dad noticed the box is moving around, so he opens the box and finds this Santa Pokeball. This thing plays a holiday song that leads into that song that people use for death. I don't know what it's called. And the little Santa head that pops up has like electricity in it. And then it shoots out arms and legs and shoves itself onto the dad's face. For some reason, he gets up to struggle with it, and this scene just takes forever because it's all in slow motion, but essentially, the dad is trying to get this thing off his face. He knocks some things over, and he falls directly into a fire poker and is dead. The mother comes out and is like, "Oh my god, Tom!" And the kid is obviously traumatized because he watched that whole entire thing. Skip to 2 weeks later, there's this guy stalking outside the home that Derek lives in, and Derek is traumatized and won't speak with anybody. Obviously, it's been 2 weeks since he saw that, of course. His mother tries to feed him food, but he just shoves his hands in the eggs and squishes them. There's a knock at the front door, and it's Kim from the last movie, and she's there with Lonnie from the last movie. I guess this means Lonnie's parents died and Kim got custody of him? Unclear, doesn't clear it up. Whatever, move past it, let's go. Kim is chatting with Sarah. Sarah is Derek's mom. So they're talking about going to a toy store, and I'm sorry, are they saying pedos here?
I guess I'll take him over to Pedos later.
A commercial for the Murder Santa Ball is on TV, and Derek freaks out about that, because of course he does. But he also still has the toy in his room, which I am confused about. We're also shown that that guy that is stalking them is still outside, like, just being creepy. So Sarah and Derek go to the toy store, and it's Petos, P-E-T-T-O's, Petos, not pedos. Petos. When they go inside, Derek is scared by Pino, which is Mr. Peto's son. He's wearing a scary mask and jumps up in front of them when they enter the store. That's good salesmanship right there. Mr. Peto apologizes for his son's antics and banishes him to the back room, and then takes Sarah and Derek around the toy store being like, "What about this? Do you want this? What about this?" And Pino goes into the basement hatch of the back room. Then the creepy guy from outside Derek's home has followed them to the store and goes in the store and begins shopping, I guess. Pino comes back with a toy, Larry the Larva, and is like, "Hey, I think you would like this toy, tiny child." Larry the Larva is a nice nod to the fourth movie, because that thing is those things, yeah. Sarah and Derek leave without a toy, and the father-son duo have an argument about it because they just lost a sale. It seems to be that Mr. Peto is pretty abusive towards his son, which is never a good sign. Pino backs up into the stalker, and Mr. Peto changes his tone real quick. The stalker buys a bunch of their toys, including Larry the Larva, and then he goes back to his motel room. In his motel room, he's shown taking apart the toys just as the landlord is knocking on the door, and the landlord says, "You owe me money," and they basically have like a little tiff about like when he's gonna pay and whatever. Okay, the stalker's name is Noah, but we don't find that out till later, so I'm just gonna call him Noah, Stalker Noah, from here on out. So Stalker Noah is like, "Do you have a kid? I can give you a present for your kid as like a bonus for I'll pay you tomorrow" kind of thing. He gives the landlord Larry the Larva. The landlord is then driving away with Larry the Larva toy, and the toy escapes its packaging, and he's kind of playing with it while also driving, and he's like, "Oh, it must be broken," because he can't turn it off, and then he just throws it back into the back seat, but it comes to the front seat and kills him. Stalker Noah breaks into the toy store. He's looking at paperwork, and he's briefly interrupted by Mr. Peto waking up to come downstairs to drink alcohol. Then there's a point where Stalker Noah is being dragged down the basement hatch, and he gets away before he's dragged down into the basement and then like leaves, and then Pino like shows up from the basement because apparently that's his room, that's where he lives. Derek and Sarah are getting ready to go to see the mall Santa. Another present arrives at the door at this time, and they just bring it into the house and like put it under the tree. Then we're in the mall Santa break room, and Clint Howard is there reprising his role as Ricky, which he should be dead, but okay. They're having a cute little conversation that also entails this.
Hey, how are the little germ carriers today, huh?
I feel like all the mall Santas are feeling that right now for this fucking 2020 COVID-ass season. So Stalker Noah must have just finished his shift as the mall Santa, and it's supposed to be Ricky's turn, but Stalker Noah sees that Derek is next in line, like 2 in line, to be sitting on Santa's lap, so he's like, let me take your shift, which is intensely creepy at this point in the movie. So Ricky allows him to take his shift. During this time, Pino is breaking into Derek and Sarah's house through the basement where he has a key that has a little brick that has his name on it. So he goes in there and is just like looking around at the stuff in the house and whatever. It's Derek's turn to sit on Santa's lap. He doesn't say anything because of course he doesn't, because he's having a hard time. He just watched his dad die 2 weeks ago. His mom's like, if you don't tell him, he won't know what to bring you. And eventually Sarah's like, all right, that's enough. Tries to take Derek away. And Noah is like, no, you can't yet, right? He's like this.
No!
Let go.
Don't go!
What are you doing? Let go of him!
No, don't go!
I'm sorry, if that's me and my kid, I'm gonna hit Santa, like, in front of all those little kids. Pino is still in the house looking at their things when Sarah and Derek get back home. Derek goes up into his mother's bedroom and brings his little, like, cassette listener tape thingy with him. Sarah is still out at the car unloading things, and Kim comes over and is like, hey, did you just get home? And Sarah's like, yeah, why? And Kim's like, well, there's someone in your house. So Sarah hauls ass into the house to make sure that whoever it is isn't harming her child. She finds Derek laying on the floor in her room listening to music. Pino is caught, and Pino runs away because he's like, oh shit. Sarah goes to confront Mr. Petto, who is getting drunk at the time. Mr. Petto fronts for his son and says, no, he's been here all day, don't worry about it. And then reveals that they used to live in that house. So Pino kind of wants to go back there and still live in that house instead of live in the basement of the toy store. Mr. Petto eventually says it'll never happen again, so don't worry about it. So Sarah goes back home and brings Derek the present that was left on their doorstep, and she's like, I think we can open this, it'll be fine. Derek's like, fuck no. Sarah thinks the gift is from Kim, and it's not. I don't remember why Sarah leaves the room, but she like leaves the room, and Derek takes this time to try to throw the present out the window, but Derek is too dumb to put the present down on the bed and then open the window. He tries to open the window with one hand, fails at that, gives up, goes downstairs and goes outside and throws it in the trash. I guess Sarah was downstairs because Kim had come over. I really want to know though how Kim lives in the suburbs, where the suburbs has this mall that Ricky clearly works at least the mall Santa. Like, how are we just not, we're not gonna, he's supposed to be dead. Lonnie shows up and takes the dumpster present for himself. He opens it up and it turns out they're roller skates. Just his size. Which is funny because, like, if they were Lonnie's size, they would not be Derek's size at all. Then we're shown that Pino and Mr. Petto are having a fight. Mr. Petto's name is Joe. I could have just been calling him Joe instead of overpronouncing his last name this whole time. Joe and Pino are having a fight, and it escalates to the point where Joe gets pushed down the stairs, or falls down the stairs of the basement, and he's probably dead. Sarah's convincing Derek to sleep in his own bed tonight while Lonnie is skating on the roller skates that he got from the dumpster. And it turns out the roller skates have rockets in them. The rockets cause Lonnie to get hit by a car. During this time, Derek is in his room and the Santa ball thing like falls off the shelf, and Derek gets a baseball bat and destroys it. Lonnie also obviously goes to the hospital, and this is where I was like, wait, so what the fuck, is Kim like his mom now? Like, why is there so much? This franchise does not like itself, really. So Stalker Noah goes to Derek's house and rings the door, and Derek answers, and Sarah's not home. Stalker Noah is trying to give Derek a present, and at this point I was like, is this kid seriously home alone right now? Like, But he's not home alone. The babysitter shows up and she was like, who are you? Like, go away. And he's like, I'm a friend of the family. I'm a friend of the family. So she like shuts the door and he's all like, essentially like, I can clear this up. Just tell me where Sarah works or whatever. And the babysitter tells him where Sarah works. But if you were really her friend or a friend of the family, you would know where she works. So to me, if I were that babysitter, I'd be like, I'm already calling the cops. Leave. Like, that's not normal. Then Sarah's in the parking garage of her work on her own, and she is going to her car, but she loses her keys, and then Stalker Noah's there. She runs, and he chases her, but then they catch up, and it's, they start making out? Like, wow. But before we settle that, we are back with the babysitter who's reading a story to Derek, and he falls asleep in his mom's bed because he's not sleeping in his own bed again. The babysitter goes to check rooms, and it's like, wait, somebody else is in the house. And then somebody grabs her, but it's just her boyfriend that she knew was coming over, so it's fine. And then they go and start fooling around in Derek's bed. Then Sarah's getting a ride home from Stalker Noah, and it turns out he's Derek's real dad. This got me. I was like, wait, what the fuck is going on? Noah's Derek's real dad. He's all like, why didn't you tell me? And Sarah's like, well, I didn't think you were ready to settle down, so I had to do what I had to do. And Noah's all like, no, but like, I want to be his dad and stuff, so cool. So then we get some back and forth scenes of Sarah and Noah banging, and then babysitter and boyfriend also like fooling around. And poor Derek is just in his mom's room like this. Then Santa gets in the house, and it's not really Santa, it's Joe, and he sees the two teens fooling around on the bed. And so then he lays out a bunch of evil toys, because the bad guy with the toys was Joe the whole time! The babysitter eventually notices the toys, and the boyfriend's like, don't worry about it. And then the hand toy crawls onto the bed and starts touching his butt, and the movie makes fun of people who are into that, because of course it does, it's the 90s. You're not allowed to like anything other than the norm. So then Derek like gets out of the bed and goes to his bedroom. The door is, again, still wide open because the babysitter didn't shut it when she went in the room, I don't think. So that's awkward. So then the toys actually start attacking the couple. One snake thing ties her wrists, and another thing, the hand thing, is choking the boyfriend. Joe puts a Santa sack over Derek and kidnaps him. Babysitter and the boyfriend are fighting these toys, and at some point this crazy insane toy car that looks like it might have been designed by Geiger, it gets on the boyfriend and like has all these razors and saws and stuff on it, and so obviously it kills him. Then Sarah and Noah are talking about Joe, and Noah's like, he's had a record of harming kids before. Like, there's a record of him rigging the toys to hurt children, which is why Noah was buying toys, to open them up to see like what they were created to do. Sarah and Noah make it back to the house, and the babysitter runs out covered in blood and jumps on the windshield of the car, because when you need help, the best way to do it is to jump onto car. What? She tells them what happened, and Noah's like, okay, well, let's get back inside. You know, the house that's filled with murderous toys? Sarah's not saying. Sarah's going to the toy store to get Derek because she knows where Joe is gonna go. So she leaves in the car. Kim shows up, and Noah's like, take care of the babysitter. And then Noah leaves to go to the toy store as well. Sarah is at the toy store, and she goes in and goes up to the apartment. There's like a painting of her there. Not at all creepy. Noah gets there and breaks into the front of the toy store. So she's on the second floor, and he's in the toy store itself. Noah goes into the basement, like Pino's room, the basement, and Sarah upstairs finds a picture of her and Derek, but Derek's picture is stabbed. Noah is attacked by a toy plane in the basement, and at the same time, Sarah finds a fake decapitated head in the apartment. In the basement, Joe shoots Noah in the face with this squirt gun that's got probably, I don't know, pepper spray in it or something. It's a spicy squirt gun. Sarah gets a knife from the apartment kitchen and then goes downstairs and then goes into the basement. In the basement, she finds a bunch of mannequin looking things, as well as random wires and like toy parts and stuff like this. And then it's revealed that Santa Joe was not Joe at all. It was a robot. And even more so of a robot, it's Pino. Pino's a fucking robot. Get it? Joe Petto? Geppetto and Pino, like Pinocchio? I get it. That's fucking great. I don't know if you can tell from like my face, but these 3 reveals all like in a row were so fucking great. Like the whole time I really thought like Noah was a creepy stalker that was trying to kill Derek and we were gonna find out why he wanted to kill Derek. But then he's Derek's the real dad, and the real person making all of the monstrous toys is the toy store owner who also has a son who's a fucking robot. Yes, this is fucking great. To me, this is fucking great. Oh my god. Pino reveals that Joe was super abusive towards him and that he's dead now, so he doesn't have to worry about him breaking Pino anymore. Pino kidnapped Derek to lure Sarah there because he wants Sarah to be his mother. And then he like dry humps her for some reason. Like, what the fuck did Joe program? What the hell is that? Sarah stabs Pino in the head and Pino's like, I'm your son, not him, and is very upset. Obviously. His existence kind of just seems upsetting in general. He then begins to stab these giant Santa sacks, and the first one he stabs only has toys in it. And then we're shown that Derek is in one of the bags. Sarah realizes quickly what he's doing, so she tries to be like, oh no, you're my boy. Like, just leave Derek alone. You're totally my kid. It's fine. That works for like a minute, but then he goes back to stabbing the bags. He stabs the one that Derek's in, and then all of a sudden Derek's like a little badass for a minute. Then Noah has an axe and he hits Pino with it. They have a little bit of a scuffle and Sarah gets the axe and chops Pino in half. Pino's top half crawls to Joe's dead body and then he dies. So then Sarah, Derek, and Noah are all together and Derek starts talking. I think he says something like, who's this guy or whatever like that. And it's a little bit like, well dude, you thought you were having a traumatizing December as it was. Guess what? You're like 9 or 10 or whatever, and you're gonna learn some even bigger news about who your real dad is. Honestly, Derek needs hardcore therapy after that December. Holy shit. I fucking actually liked this one, so let's go to the board. So, Silent Night, Deadly Night 5, The Toymaker. I had so much fun with this one. It's gonna be a number 1 for me, guys. I'm not... Because it was just so silly. I watched it before I knew anything about it. I just saw, like, the box art for it. And the box art for it has, like, nothing to do with the actual movie or the story itself. So I really just had no idea what was going on. I knew there was going to be, like, killer toys, but hot damn. So let's put this at number 1. Number 1. God damn. Good. I thought it was good. Like, be mad at me, I guess. Or if you're not, whatever. So, is there too much in the trailer? Yes, actually, there is. There's too much in the trailer. There are 4 kills in this movie, and there are 3 kills in the trailer. Also, the entire trailer ruins all of the twists at the end. I'm so glad I never watched trailers, and that for this, that I watched the trailer after I watched the film. If I had seen the trailer first and all of the surprises were spoiled for me, it wouldn't have a number 1 ranking right now. I would have been like, oh, okay, cool. So they added these twists and red herrings and the marketing team just fucking ruined it. Yes, there is too much in that trailer. I think it makes it less interesting. So those are my thoughts on Silent Night, Deadly Night 5, The Toymaker. Let me know what you think in the comments. Have you seen this movie before? Do you plan on seeing it, even though I fucking ruined it by telling you all the parts of the movie? Yeah, let me know in the comments below. Thank you for watching this video. We are on the end part of this. We have 1 more movie to go over, and then we will know my final ranking and trailer opinions. Like the video if you liked it. If you liked it a lot, share this whole series with somebody who you think might enjoy it as well. If you are not subscribed yet, subscribe to the channel. To all of my subscribers, thank you guys so much for being my audience so I can do things like this. But that's the end of this video, and I will see you guys in the next one. Bye! Oh, it's pedos, like Geppettos. Joe Pedos. God damn it! Okay, alright.
I'm your son now! Not him! Not him. Not him. It's the only way.